everyone, welcome to my Biology. And today we're going to talk about Unit 10, Part 2, Mendel's 3 to 1 ratio, and does the inheritance work in the same way in other species as peas. So, as you know that we talked about the alleles, we talked about the dominant recessive genes. So, red is the dominant allele for the flower. So, the alleles for the petal color are red with a capital letter, and yellow color is gonna be in a small case letter just because of its recessive. So, if we match the red colored flower with a yellow colored flower, and what we will get if its gene is R and R with a capital letter, it's a dominant, and the other one with a recessive. And what we will get in the first offspring, we will get only the red colored offsprings. Why? Because all of them, one capital letter is enough for the alleles to be dominant, because the gametes are going to be R, capital letter R, and small case letter R's. But in the first generation, if we match them with each other, we will only get the only red petal colored flowers. What happens in this one? As you see, one dominant allele is enough to be exposed in the phenotypes. That possible offsprings of a cross between two homozygous parents are always heterozygous, and so the dominant characters is always going to be expressed in this generation in their phenotype. But what happens if both of the parents are heterozygous, and so the alleles in each plant are different? So one capital R and one small case r. And what will happen in their generation? And if we take the gametes and if we just make a Punnett square, we will see that so some of them will have the dominant traits, and only one of them will have the recessive alleles. So it's going to be that 3 of these 4 offsprings are going to have red petal color, and only one of them is going to just obtain the recessive genes, recessive alleles. When two heterozygous parents are crossed, and the possible offspring will always show 3 to 1 ratio in favor of the dominant phenotypes, which was actually the discovery of Mendel. Now, what about the allele for brown eyes is dominant to the allele for blue eyes? If a homozygous brown-eyed parent and the blue-eyed parent have children, what are the possible eye colors of this offspring? Let's talk about this during the lesson. Now, homozygous alleles, as you know that the chromosomes from your dad and from your mom that have the same alleles. For example, capital letter B, for example, shows us and gives us the brown eyes for allele, and the small case B's are the allele for blue eyes. What happens, for example, if a heterozygous parent, so in heterozygous parents, what will happen? The one allele will get from the brown-eyed parent, and the one allele will get from the blue-eyed parent. And what will happen then? Dominant alleles are always expressed in a cell's phenotype, and dominant alleles are represented by uppercase letter, as you know, and recessive alleles are only expressed in a cell's phenotype, and if there is no dominant allele presented. Recessive alleles are always presented by lowercase letters. Now, so what will happen? The genotype for someone with an allele for blue eyes and an allele for brown eyes could be written like capital B and lowercase b. The dominant allele has a capital letter and the written before the recessive allele. Just because of these, brown eye color is the dominant. This individual will have a brown eyes because the alleles for brown eyes masks the allele for blue eyes, and it will show in the phenotype in favor of these dominant genes. If a homozygous brown-eyed parent married with a just blue-eyed recessive allele person, they will have probably brown-eyed baby just because of brown color is the dominant and it will shade over the blue eyes, but it doesn't mean that that child will not have a gene for the blue eyes. So if the first generation is heterozygous parents with brown eyes have children, and what are the possible eye colors of these offspring? Imagine that children have got the brown eyes, but they're heterozygous. And what are gonna be the offsprings of these children? Now you're going to find out. Now look at the genetic variation. What are the consequences of having parents closely related? Now we're always told that we shouldn't pair with our closely related relatives, and when parents are blood relatives, there is a higher risk of disease and birth defects, stillbirth, infant mortality, and a shorter life expectancy. To have a child with severe diseases and disorders may cause heavy strain for the family in question. And what is alkaptonuria? Today we're going to focus on one genetic disease which is called alkaptonuria. Is an inborn error of metabolism, genetic disease caused by a lack of enzymes or homogeneous state dioxinase. It is very rare disease. Like parents can be carrier mother and carrier father, and this one of them are gonna be that this one of the four children was going to be affected. Two of them are going to be carrier, and only one is going to be unaffected child by this disease. The alkaptonuria is actually there are some clinical symptoms of alkaptonuria, which is a metabolism problem, that black urine which appears from birth and can lead to early diagnosis, osteoarthritis, black spots in the eyes, kidney, prostate, and bladder stones may occur, and the buildup of AGA can also cause heart complications. In severe cases, it may cause heart disease, and patients may require heart valve replacement. Genetic variation occurs mainly through DNA mutation, gene flow, and sexual reproduction. Due to the fact that environments are unstable, populations that are genetically variable will be able to adapt to changing situations better than those that do not contain genetic variation. So genetic variation in humans, that genetically we can get mutations, and with the help of mutations we can get different variations. While in environmental as well, the sexual reproductions, new combination of existing genes can give us random assortments as well. Polytypic. A polytypic species is composed of local populations that differ in the expression of one or more traits. Even within local population, there is a great deal of genotypic and phenotypic variation between the individuals. So we have got evolution of stature variation, that Bergman said that body size tends to be greater in population that live in colder environments, while Allen said that in colder climates, shorter limbs with increased mass to surface ratio are adaptive because they are more effective at preventing heat loss. Longer limbs are more adaptive in warmer climates because they allow for greater heat loss. And evolution of skin pigmentation, that lightly pigmented skin evolved 3 separate times, including with the Neanderthals. Females in of a population have a lighter skin than males of the same population. Females need more calcium, vitamin D rather than males, and males need higher folate levels to safeguard the production of the sperm. Now we've got a database question on page 264. Try to pay attention to this database question and try to solve this problem. So that's it for today. Have a nice day. Bye bye.